Hello everybody, welcome back to the Mermaid's Cave. I'm Leslie Levison and we are on a dazzling crazy quilt adventure together. Today I want to show you a unique beading treatment, a braided bead, or a bead braid if you will. I'm going to be using 3 colors of a number 8 bead. Again, the larger, the higher the number, the smaller the bead is. So an 8 is a great size to use if you have trouble threading a very fine beading needle. You can use a slightly larger needle, but I'm using it just because it's easy to demonstrate with, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now this technique, I have to give credit where credit is due. It's from the Dimensional Bead Embroidery book that was written by Jamie Cloud Eakin. And she gives you step-by-step information on how to do it. It's a very nice book if you ever can get a hold of a copy. I think it's worthwhile having. So for our sample today, we're going to just work on, I've just got a piece of fabric here. And I've got my seam allowance, if you will, drawn in. So this would be your seam on your crazy quilt if you were actually working on a crazy quilt. So to begin, I'm going to put on 7 beads of one color. And I've come up, I've come up just slightly to the side of my line. And I'm going to take my needle down. Now I've got 7 beads. So I'm going to count 1 bead back so that it'll curve a little bit. And then I'm going to take my needle down just to the other side of that line. And that's my first stitch. Now I'm going to come up about halfway, not quite all the way, halfway up that line, like a back stitch. And I'm going to put on my next color. 7 beads. Okay, and I'm going to work that again. I'm going to curve it around a little bit, like so, and take my needle down just to the side of the seam or the line. Okay, now I'm going to use my 3rd color. I'm coming up just inside that 2nd loop. So here's my needle here. It's not a loop, it's just a squiggly line. Okay, let's get you back in focus. I'm going to put on my 7 beads. And do my next. Okay, now it's time to go back to the burgundy beads. I'm going to come up in the middle there. And put on my 7 burgundy beads. And come around and keep my braid going. And you would continue in that fashion until you have the length that you wanted. Okay. And I think it's a really pretty stitch, and I'm very happy that Jamie Cloud Eakin included it in her book so that I could use it on my crazy quilts. I have a few examples to show you. This is this is a little block that I worked on. Same color theme. I think it would be really cool if you did like rows of it, rows of braids. That would be nice. This is a piece that I've been working on in the videos. This is all done in the same color, obviously, but it gives a very nice border to this little patch. And then this is, for those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, this is a quilt I did using some Game of Thrones fabric, and I tried to represent things in the show without hitting you over the head with it. So these are vintage or antique beads, cut beads, and they're braided. It's the braiding stitch, and it's done all the way around the quilt. The quilt's about 24 by 24, so that's a lot of beads. Something else I want to just show you quickly because it's so cool. This I did on Timtex, which is a stiff interfacing used for baseball caps, and I beaded the whole thing. It's supposed to be the fire from the dragon, and then this is the dragon's teeth. These are little claw beads or dagger beads, they're called. So you can have a lot of fun using things not necessarily in the way they were intended to be used, but in a way that makes you happy. And then also I have to show you this. At the end of the braids, I have little bells to represent the Dothroki that had bells in their braids to show they'd never been defeated. That's it for this time. I'm glad you joined me. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more crazy quilting adventures. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.